What's up, guys? Amanda Nyberg, registered dietitian. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking to you all about reverse dieting. What the heck is reverse dieting? Well, I'm here to tell you, if you are someone that has been eating in a caloric deficit for a significant amount of time, or if you are someone that has recently lost weight, got to your goal weight, and you are not considering reverse dieting, you are missing one of the most important steps to your body's ability to maintain your success. So basically, weight loss is mainly about calories, all right? You really have to be in a calorie deficit in order to burn fat, all right? We kind of know that to be true. I've talked about that in my prior videos. Calories and protein matter the most when it comes to weight loss. So anytime that you're cutting calories and you're seeing weight loss results, you are putting your body into a caloric deficit, meaning your body is burning more calories than you are taking in. And that's what promotes weight loss, fat loss, okay? Being in a caloric deficit. But our bodies are very good at adapting, all right? So over time, and I hear this often from my clients, they'll say, Amanda, you know, I've been eating at 1,600 calories for the last 6 months and I've seen great progress. And all of a sudden I've changed nothing, but nothing's happening. I can't move forward anymore. And that is because your body has finally adapted to that new caloric value. So in order to see progress at that point, you either have to expend more calories, so you either have to increase your output, or you have to eat less. You have to cut calories, putting yourself back into a caloric deficit. So if you're at 1,600 calories, maybe you drop down to 1,400 calories, all right? But at some point, and really 1,400 calories is the lowest I ever like to take my clients, unless you're like 5 feet tall. But at some point you get to a point in which you cannot drop calories anymore. You cannot increase your caloric burn. You cannot eat less. It's not sustainable. You're not going to be consistent with it. So at that point, you have to take a diet break, okay? And we use this concept of reverse dieting in my lean program in two different scenarios, all right? Number one, you've hit your goal weight. Okay, your caloric deficit sustained, you hit your goal weight, you're now where you want to be. At that point, we must reverse diet in order to sustain your results. The other scenario that we use it in is if you hit a plateau. So again, you've been kind of doing all the work, it's been working in the past, but eventually your calories are super low, you're doing the work, and you're not seeing the results. At that point, we have to take a diet break, even though we're not quite where we want to be yet, but we have to take a break. We have to build back our metabolic rate to then go back in a caloric deficit, say in 4 or 5 months. So those are the two main scenarios in which you need to be implementing reverse dieting. I'm currently reverse dieting. So what does reverse dieting look like? And I'm just going to use kind of myself as an example. At the first of the year, I went into a caloric deficit, 1,600 calories, 1,700 calories for 10 weeks, saw great results, lost a ton of inches, improved my body composition, and the scale went down. So after 10 weeks, for me, I felt like I was in a good place, but I was also kind of like burnout, okay? Eating that low calorie goal required a lot of sacrifice. I had to give up a lot of alcohol. I had to avoid eating out. You know, again, it required a significant amount of commitment that I knew that I could not sustain moving forward. So at that point is when I was like, okay, it's time to reverse diet. So what I've been doing over the past couple of months is I've been slowly increasing my caloric intake. So I went from 1,600 to 1,700 calories to 1,700 to 1,800 calories. And I stayed there for about 3 to 4 weeks while my body adapted. Because the key to reverse dieting is you should not see significant weight gain during your reverse dieting if you do it correctly. And then again, my body, you know, was able to tolerate that extra 100 calories. So then 3 to 4 weeks later, I went up to 19 to 2,000 calories. So basically you're adding about 100 calories to your daily average every 3 to 4 weeks. The end goal, I always tell people, once reverse dieting does take time because, you add about 100 calories every 3 to 4 weeks. You really want to invest in your ability to add at least 400 calories to your bottom line. So if your prior deficit was 1,600, you want to reverse diet at least up to 2,000. But at the end of the day, if you have the time and the patience, you want to reverse diet as high as you possibly can. So my deficit was 1,600, and really my goal is to get up to about 2,200 calories a day. Now, what you have to understand is that while you're adding calories, your goal is to sustain your weight within a 4-pound range. So the 2 weeks before I started reverse dieting, I weighed myself about 3 to 4 times each week. I took those 6 to 8 weights, I added them all up, and I divided them by 8 or 6, however many numbers, to get my average. So that's what I consider my green light number. Okay, so I don't off the top of my head know what those exactly were, but we'll say it's 140 was my average weight for the past 2 weeks. That's my green light number. I'm going to add 4 to that, and that's my red light number. So my goal while I'm reverse dieting is to stay between 140 and 144. And that's how you know if your body is tolerating the extra calories. Typically, and I've helped hundreds of clients implement reverse dieting. And from my experience, you can typically add the first 100, 200 very quickly. A lot of times I have clients that have been just such chronically under eating that we add 100 or 200 calories and they actually start losing more because they've just been under consuming protein, under consuming calories, that their body's in, kind of like that starvation mode. But our body typically handles that first 100 to 200 calories very nicely, okay? Most people are gonna stay really close to their green light number. But then once we get to 300, 400, 500, that's when you have to kind of take things a little bit slower. So you may have to stay at a caloric range for, 6 to 8 weeks based on how your weight is trending. So that's how we reverse diet without putting on a ton of weight. I've talked to a lot of people, they're like, yeah, well, I reverse dieted and I gained 20 pounds. That's not reverse dieting, okay? So at the end of the day, if you're someone that is still in your weight loss journey, once you build back up your calories, by at least 400 to 500 calories, then, and again, that is now your maintenance. Remember, you're maintaining your weight within a 4-pound range because guys, that is maintenance. Okay, if you wake up one morning and you're up 2 pounds, it's not fat overnight. It's volume, food volume. It's fluid retention. It's you need a good poop. It's you didn't sleep good. You had more alcohol the day before. So again, recognizing that maintenance is within kind of a 4-pound range is really critical to successfully reverse diet. But once you build back up your calories, now you're maintaining in that 4-pound range, eating 500 more calories a day. So then when you get to the next step in your, weight loss journey, you can go back in a caloric deficit. So you go back down to say 1,600 calories. You now are in a 400 calorie deficit because remember, we built your calories back up to be maintaining at a higher caloric value. And so your body's like, oh my gosh, I'm back in a caloric deficit. Let me burn this extra fat. Reverse dieting is so important to anyone's long-term weight loss journey. You cannot live in a caloric deficit. You cannot grind out a caloric deficit, specifically when you're not seeing results. It's such a clear sign. We assess progress every 4 weeks in my lean program, in my monthly membership. And at the end of 4 weeks, if you've had good effort, you're hitting your protein goal, you're within your calorie goal, your steps are good, you're working out, your alcohol's managed, your fluid's good, your sleep is good, and your calories are already super low, our only option is to take a diet break and to reverse diet. Same thing if you hit your goal weight. Okay. And I see this a lot with people when their calories are a little bit higher. Say you are able to hit your goal weight at 16 to 1800 calories. And in your mind, you're like, I feel good. Like this caloric, value is not hard for me to sustain. I'm just going to keep doing this. But here's the problem. When you lost your weight, your maintenance caloric intake, your maintenance caloric value was much higher. So as you lost weight, your body adapted. The longer you stay in that caloric deficit, the more your body adapts. So yes, 6 months after you hit your goal weight, you may be cruising right along with no issues, but then the holidays come up. All right. And now you're not necessarily gorging on foods, but maybe you're eating an extra 100 calories a day. That extra, Christmas cookie, that extra Christmas cocktail. Or maybe you're eating an extra 200 calories a day. Again, pretty insignificant, but because your caloric value is so low and you haven't rebuilt your metabolism, that small increase in calories is what makes you slowly put the weight back on. So I would love to know in the comments below, what are your questions about reverse dieting? Have you tried it? Do you feel like you're someone who needs to be reverse dieting? I actually have a comprehensive reverse dieting guide in my shop. And I'm happy to film more videos on this topic because I think it's so important. I think it's definitely an area that most people are missing on their weight loss journey. They're not investing in the time after you reach your goal or when you hit a plateau to rebuild your metabolic rate in order to be able to stay there. So let me know. If you found this information beneficial, please subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends and family. I want to bring as much relevant content to you guys to help you reach your health and wellness goals.